This is Badshah Masjid in Lahore. It is one of the most amazing buildings that Muslims ever built. Assalamu alaikum, this is your brother Mohammad Arshad, and in this video I'm going to be talking about one reason why I believe Muslims are amazing. I'm also going to be giving you 3 practical tips if you're one of these amazing Muslims on how you can become even more amazing, inshallah. But before I begin, I want to make 3 points. Because there's so much hate and negativity out there around Muslims and stuff. I wanted to just clarify 3 points before I get into why I believe Muslims are amazing, right? So the first point is that by me saying Muslims are amazing, I'm not making a point that there are not non-Muslims who haven't achieved great things. If you look throughout history, there's so many technology, there's so much historical stuff, there's so much science and stuff that non-Muslims have done great work on, right? So just by me making this video, I'm not saying any of that. The second point is that I know in our ummah there are massive issues. We have major problems. There's so much we could do better, and we have a few messed up Muslims as well, right? So I want to make that clear. And then the third thing I want to say is that I believe just by the fact that a person worships Allah, loves the Prophet ﷺ, and does righteous actions, that alone means that person's amazing. So my whole thought around making this video isn't to talk about that element, but it's to highlight something that I've seen after speaking to thousands of Muslims in person, over the phone, on LinkedIn, across social media, like actually speaking to people. There's certain things that I've seen, certain patterns that I've realized after speaking to them, right? And that's what I wanted to share with you today. So the one reason, which is an additional reason why I think Muslims are amazing, is because they are filled with compassion and selflessness. Compassion and selflessness, right? Now, if you look at it, you'll find that there's some real big evidence for this kind of stuff outside the general thing. So, for example, I think it was earlier this year or last year in the UK, they did a study and they found that Muslims give more charity than anyone else in the UK. That's a fact, right? And I'm sure it's probably like that in other parts of the world as well. So this is the kind of thing that I found. That the reason I'm saying this is because when it comes down to it, I started speaking to Muslims about what they wanted to do in their life, what kind of things they want to achieve, what they want to do with their businesses, and all this kind of stuff. And what I realized is that while speaking to people, you kind of get into their world, you delve into their dreams. And almost all the Muslims I speak to, every one of them, they all want to do something outside of themselves. They want to do something for the ummah. They want to do something meaningful. They want to do something for the benefit of humanity. And I think this is a wonderful, wonderful quality, to want to benefit others, to want to give your time and effort to go and help someone else. And alhamdulillah, I've been in volunteering in Muslim organizations and stuff for about 15 years, I think, maybe a bit more now. And I've just found that there's so many Muslims out there who give their time, who dedicate their lives to helping others, and I'm so impressed by it. And I'm talking about people who are like in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, but even people who are like young teenagers, even them, they feel like they want to do something amazing. They feel like they want to give to the ummah. They feel like they want to help Muslims, non-Muslims. They want to give good and they want to do good, right? So I thought this was amazing, and I think that I just want you to acknowledge every one of you that has this mindset of giving for the sake of Allah, compassion, selflessness, and inshallah your reward is with Allah for sure. Most Muslims, they want to help the ummah, but they don't know how. So I want to help you by giving you 3 steps to doing exactly that, and to get much better at giving, inshallah, and for you to give something that's going to be even better, inshallah. So the 3 steps. The first step I would advise, let's say you do have that mindset, you want to give, you want to help others, and you're wondering like, how on earth do I do it? Because it may be that you're not that experienced, you don't have that much, you're really kind of lost. A lot of people I speak to, they don't know that what they should be doing. So step 1, figure out your passion. Figure out your passion. Okay, the question I ask most when I speak to people is, what are you passionate about? Okay. The reason for this is because passion is the thing that will keep you going. Passion is what drives you. It's what you do automatically even when things get hard. So things are really, really hard, you're facing obstacles, but you still go out and do it, right? So what you're passionate about is really, really important. Okay, so how do you figure out your passions, right? So if it's about figuring out passions, how can you do that? So what I would say is start thinking about, what do you love doing? Okay, what would you do anyway? Like, even if you weren't getting paid, even if it wasn't your job, what do you love doing? So for me, one of the things I love doing is actually speaking and helping people, right? So speaking is something that I do a lot of, I guess. What do you spend your time and money on, right? If you look at the last week of your time, where have you spent most of your time? If you look at the last $1,000, £1,000 that you spent, where did you spend that money? These things will give you clues about what you're passionate about, because if you're spending lots of time on something, it means that there's some sort of passion there. If you're spending lots of money on something, that means that there's some sort of passion in there. So I would say that look at the time and money that you're spending. The other thing you can look at is things like books, movies, things that you're watching. Think about like what your favorite book is. What is your favorite movie? What is your favorite TV program? And then kind of use that to delve deeper into, why is it that you love that book? Why is it that you love that film? Is there a specific reason? Is there something that happens? Is there a character? Is there something that the character does? Like, think about where you're kind of giving your attention and why you love it so much. And then also, like, think about, what do you always talk about? What are the things that you're constantly talking about? Like, if I was around you right now and we were together for 10-12 hours, like, what would you talk about most? What are the things that you're interested in, right? And it could be anything. It's very, very important to say that people think that it has to be something like Quran and noble and this and that. I'm going to say to you that there's so much good you can do, even if you feel that it's insignificant, even if you think that this is something that's kind of, not related to benefiting people. How could I do that? We're going to come to that later on, right? But just get clear on, what are you passionate about? What will you continue to do no matter what? So for example, my passion is helping people to grow and to develop themselves, to develop their businesses, to kind of move them forward, right? My other passion is communication, so I help people to better their communication and increase their confidence. This is something that I've been doing long before I ever received any payment for it, or I had any business or anything like that. It was something that I kept doing and helping people to grow themselves, to develop themselves, to do training and do all this kind of stuff. I was doing it for so many years without anything, because it was just a natural part of me. It's like if someone loves football, right? They're just going to play football no matter what. They'll just play every time. They'll try and find a way to play. So this is the same thing that I would advise that you kind of look at and understand yourself. And of course, you can go and ask other people, and they can give you tips on what they think it will be as well. So that's step one, figure out your passion. Now, step two is figure out your strengths. Okay, so people, obviously, they say develop your weaknesses, right? And I agree with this, because I believe that we want to be balanced human beings, right? And we want to excel at everything that we do. But there's certain things that you are naturally good at, okay? So, there's things over time, over your life, you've built certain skills which are really, really strong and really good, right? And it's easier for you to become great at those skills rather than you taking a weakness and then working on that, right? So because you're going to kind of be this superhero who wants to help other people and benefit other people, it's better that you have a strength which you're really, really great at, rather than having a weakness that you're average at, right? So how do you figure out your strengths? Now, the first thing I would advise is that you write out a list of things that you're great at, okay? Now, it could be anything, right? It could be eating kebabs, it could be absolutely anything, but you need to write a list of what you're great at, okay? So just write a list, put everything down that you're great at. The second thing you can do is ask people that you know what they think your strengths are. Now, it might be that you're not great at something, right? But there's certain things which you do better than other things. So go to other people that know you, your friends, your family, and ask them, what do they think your strengths are? Because they will be able to give you a perspective that you can't have, because you're looking at it from inside, whereas they're viewing you from outside. And so you might find that people will give you something that you didn't think about. So for example, like, sometimes when I get into arguments with people, they would say to me, oh, you just simplify everything too much, right? Everything you're saying in an argument, you're simplifying it. It's not that simple. And then later on I thought, you know what, this is actually a strength that I have. Of course, it's a weakness as well in arguments, But being able to simplify things is a strength that I have, and I only learned that because someone else said it to me. So asking other people is very, very important about your strengths. The other thing you could do is you could look at your life and look at the things that you've been through, right? Look at the experiences that you've had. Maybe, you know, as a child you were bullied. Maybe you learned a lot from that. Maybe that you've, had a lot of family problems and you've discussed things a lot. Maybe you've done certain jobs. Maybe there's work experience that you've done. All these kind of things will help to identify where are the areas that you are strong at, right? So next thing I want to do is a timeout. Before I go to step 3, I just want to remind you to subscribe to our channel, because we produce lots of amazing videos, lots of content about growing yourself, about growing your business, improving your life. And if you're getting any value and you're still here, it means that this video is something that's useful for you. So please like the video, please share it, and of course please remember to subscribe so that you don't miss anything, inshallah, and you can help others to benefit too. Right, so let's move on now. We said step 1 was figure out your passions. Step 2 we said is figure out your strengths. And step 3 is figure out where the demand is. Figure out where the demand is. So knowing your passions is really, really important, because it's the fuel for you. Aligning to your strengths is the thing that's going to help you to excel and do really, really well. But the critical element is for you to work on areas that people really care about. Make sure that there's really demand for what you're going to do. Okay, so how do we figure out demand? The first thing I would say is look at the problems related to your passions and strengths, right? So let's say there's something that you love doing, like let's say you love playing football, right? What are some of the problems that are related to football? Maybe it's like young people trying to get into football. Maybe it's facilities for playing are not really there. Maybe people can't afford to play football. Like, look at the actual passion that you have, the strengths that you have, and then look at the problems that are related to them, right? The other thing is look at where people are spending money. So again, if you are passionate about football, you could look at where are all the places where people spend money for football. The third thing is look at solutions related to what your passions are about. Okay, so the problems we talked about already, look at what's on offer in the industry, and through going through all of that and understanding what your passion is, understanding what your strengths are, seeing where people really care about, it should start to give you some idea of how you can go out and benefit people. Okay, now that's the 3 steps for kind of helping you to discover. But as a bonus tip, I want to tell you how you can basically work to master these things, because knowing your passions, knowing your strengths, knowing the market demands, these are the steps which are going to help you to identify exactly what you should be doing. But after this, the real work begins, right? So in order for you to do that, what you need to do next, once you figure it out, is you need to learn the trade. Okay, you need to learn the trade and learn it from those who have already done it. So for example, let's say that you want to do something. The first thing I would do is I would go out there and do massive research, right? I'd go out there, I'd look at internet videos on how to do this. I'd read up blogs, I'd read up Google, and just spend as much time as you can getting to know how to do this, because you don't want to make the same mistakes that other people have made. You want to learn from other people's experiences. You want to have accelerated learning so that you can get to your destination faster, and the best way to do that is to learn from others. So go out there, learn the trade, use the internet, and get out there, right? The second thing is practice. Practice makes perfect, right? So what you need to do is you need to go out and get experience, and get real experience, get as much experience as you can. So when I first started out helping people, I really wanted to help people out. I didn't really know what to do, but I just wanted to kind of help people in some way. And I remember I was very lucky, alhamdulillah, someone at my workplace said to me, hey, why don't you go to this charity I heard of? It's called Muslim Youth Helpline. Go out there, speak to them, and really see what happens. So I went there, I found out all about it. It was a really amazing setup that they had, and I joined the helpline, and I started to kind of do counseling. But at that time I didn't really know what it was about. I had some training, I learned a little bit about it, but then it was about getting real experience, and that's what I did. I got on the phones and I tried to increase the time I was spending there as much as I could, get more and more experience, because the more you practice, the more you do it, the better you'll get at it, right? But if you keep practicing, keep getting more experience, and you don't do the third thing, you'll never achieve mastery. So the third thing that you need to do is improve and iterate, right? So by you going and doing this thing. Like, imagine if I was doing counseling, but I was never looking at what's going on in my counseling, what am I doing well, what am I not doing well, changing my approach. These are the things that you need to do. So once you get into this habit of taking action, learning, practicing, you need to review yourself. You need to say, right, this thing that I'm doing, has it got any better? What's the bad thing about what I'm doing? What do I need to do to get to the next level? And if you keep improving, keep iterating, what you'll find is that you'll reach a level of mastery that most people in your industry or in the thing that you want to do will never ever be able to do, because you're constantly improving yourself. So these are the kind of things I want to recap. The first thing I said is that Muslims are amazing because they're so selfless, they're so compassionate, and they're so willing to help other people, alhamdulillah. So I was saying that to help you discover exactly how you can give to other people, I would say figure out your passions, the things that you really, really care about. Figure out your strengths. These are the things that you're really good at, or you're at a good level at already. And then figure out the market demand. Figure out where you can really help people. And if you do those three things, then you know what kind of areas to go out and help people. And don't think of anything as insignificant, right? If it's halal and if it's good and if it's benefiting the people, this is amazing, because just for benefiting the people, there's a huge reward in that, inshallah. And then I was saying that once you figure out what you want to do, then it's about you going out there, learning from the mistakes of others, learning from the resources that we have, going out there, practicing, and then most importantly, improving and iterating on the kind of stuff that you're doing. So I hope that this has been a beneficial video for you. I pray that Allah makes it easy for you to help others and accepts it and rewards you without measure. Jazakallah khair for watching. Assalamu